It's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. It's been a long time since I've read a story for the children. So today I'm going to read my little book about two bad mice. This is based on a story by Beatrice Potter. You gotta love Beatrice Potter. She's the one that wrote Peter Rabbit. Once upon a time, let's see if you can see this, and if I can see it. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful dollhouse. It was real brick with white windows, and it had real curtains, a front door, and a chimney. It belonged to two dolls named Lucidia and Jane. It really belonged just to Lucidia. Jane was the cook. But Lucidia never asked for meals and Lane never cooked. Dinner was stored in a box ready to eat. There were 2 red lobsters, a ham, a fish, pudding, and some pears and oranges. They would not come off the plates, but they were extremely beautiful. One morning, Lucidia and Jane had gone out for a ride in the doll stroller. There was no one in the nursery. It was quite quiet. Suddenly, there was a little scuffling, scratching noise in the corner near the fireplace. There was a hole in the wall. Tom Thumb put out his head for a moment and then popped it back in again. Tom Thumb was a mouse. A minute later, Hunka Munka, his wife, put her head out too. Then she saw that there was no one in the nursery. She ventured out. Tom Thumb and Hunka Munka went carefully towards the dollhouse. They pushed open the front door. It was not locked. Tom Thumb and Hunka Munka peeked into the dining room. They squealed with joy. Such a lovely dinner was set on the table. There were tiny spoons and knives and forks and 2 mouse-sized chairs. Tom Thumb set to work at once to carve the ham. It was plump. It was plump and juicy looking, but the knife bent, and it hurt him. He put his finger in his mouth. It's not cooked enough. It's hard. You try to carve it, Hunka Munka, said Tom Thumb. Hunka Munka stood on her chair and chopped at the ham with another knife. The ham broke off the plate and rolled under the table. Let it alone, said Tom Thumb. Give me some fish instead, Hunka Munka. Hunka Munka tried to give Tom Thumb some fish, but the fish was glued to the dish. Tom Thumb lost his temper. He put the ham in the middle of the floor and hit it with a coal shovel. Bang, bang, smash, smash. The ham broke into pieces. It was made of nothing but plaster. There was no end to the anger and disappointment of Tom Thumb and Hunka Munka. They smashed the pudding, the lobsters, the pears, and the oranges. Hunka Munka had yet another disappointment. She found some tiny canisters on the shelf. The canisters were labeled rice, coffee, and flour. But when she turned them upside down, only red and blue beads spilled out. It was all pretend food. Those 2 bad mice set to work to do all the mischief they could. Tom Thumb took Jane's doll clothes out of the dresser in her bedroom and threw them out the upstairs window. Hunca-Munca was not the sort to waste things, though. After she'd pulled half the feathers out of Lucida's bed pillow, Hunca-Munca remembered she needed a feather bed. She and Tom Thumb carried the pillow down the stairs and into the mouse hole. It was a tight squeeze, but they managed it somehow. Then Hunca-Munca went back to the dollhouse and took the bookcase, a bird cage, several small odds and ends. It didn't help matters that the bookcase and the bird cage refused to go into the mouse hole. Hunca-Munca left the bookcase and bird cage next to the mouse hole and went to get the cradle. The cradle fit through the hole nicely. But just as they were returning to get the chair, there were voices outside the nursery door. The mice rushed back to their hole and the two dolls came into the nursery. What a sight met the eyes of Jane and Lucida. Lucida sat on the upset kitchen stove and stared at the mess. Jane leaned against the kitchen shelves and smiled. Her face was painted in a smile. Neither of them could speak. The little girls who owned the dollhouse said, "I will get a doll dressed like a police officer." It's a good idea. The little girl's nanny said, "I will set a mouse trap." The bookcase and the bird cage were rescued, but Hunca-Munca still had the cradle. She also had some of Lucida's clothes and other small things. So that is the story of the two bad mice. But they were not so nasty after all, because Tom Thumb paid for everything he broke. He found some money under a rug, and on Christmas Eve, he and Hunca-Munca stuffed it into Lucida and Jane's Christmas stockings. And very early, every morning before anyone is awake, Hunca-Munca comes with her dustpan and her broom to sweep the dollhouse. Well, they were kind of bad mice, but not quite all the way bad. Do you think you could ever be fooled by pretend food? Well, I want to tell you, when I was a little girl, my Aunt Mary had a beautiful dish on her table that had pears and bananas and oranges. I don't remember what else. Oh, and peaches. And they looked delicious to me. So one day I couldn't help it. I grabbed a peach and I went to take a bite of it. The peach was made out of plastic. All the fruit there, the bananas, the orange, they had an apple, all of it was made with plastic. Looked very real to me, but I didn't turn out eating it, and neither did these little mice. Well, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. I want to pray blessings on you and yours, in your house, out of your house, in the day and in the night. And whatever you do, keep dreaming. Good night and God bless you.